That Project Sign was right with its conclusion was already proven by a sensational discovery. On July 2nd, 1947, an unidentified flying object crashed near Roswell, New Mexico. After William Mac Brazel, a local farmer, informed the military at the nearby Roswell Army Air Base on July 7th, a secret operation was begun to assure the recovery of the wreckage. They were so unprepared for this event that the press relation officer at the base informed the press about the incident before the General Staff of the Pentagon declared it a national security matter. So it caused nationwide headlines before the official denial followed the next day. Suddenly the flying saucer couldn't have been anything else than a simple misguided weather balloon.
Well, immediately after the crash, this is the first one that happened officially. There may have been others, but this was the first one that came to the attention of the military first. And they tried to keep it under control, but this was a long holiday weekend, and the information got out. The staff people were not in their offices to protect the escape of information. As a result of this crash, where a part came down at Magdalena, New Mexico, and a part came down at Roswell. These parts were successfully recovered, and then an attempt was made to explain them away as the crash residue of a weather balloon. But because we now have one in hand, we don't know when the next one is going to come down. As soon as it was realized, as soon as they were aware of the fact that they had an entirely different craft than anything known to Earth technology, aviation technology, they notified their superiors up the line through Air Materiel Command to the Air Force Chief of Staff, who called the Secretary of State for the American government and advised him that they have an alien vehicle on our territory, properly the business of the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State at that time was General George C. Marshall, the father of the Marshall Plan. And General Marshall, by now realizing that it is truly a unique vehicle and that it may be extraterrestrial, quickly assigned 12 people, staff people, a number of staff people, let's say, including scientists and high-ranking officers, to begin an immediate examination of the event. And they did, and realizing in the process that it is now an extraterrestrial vehicle, they began to create contingency plans for the next one. And it was a result of the contingency plans that we assigned 6 prominent scientists and 6 prominent military people to a committee to manage this problem and keep it under control. And in their turn, they created security forces. They trained teams to recover these things. They established a program to keep it secret.
These documents, released in 1987, confirm Colonel Stevens' statement. In a top-secret, eyes-only classified memorandum, President Harry S. Truman personally authorized the 12-member commission, codenamed Operation Majestic 12.
And this was in organization and in place by the time the next one happened. The next vehicle came down on the 25th of March of 1978, almost a year later, at Aztec, New Mexico. And by this time, they have the committee, they have the security forces, they have a detachment in training, they have an organization and a plan, and it happened to be based at Durango, Colorado, which was the nearest Army base of size near Roswell, north of New Mexico. And so Durango was immediately notified and went into action and provided the first security forces to protect the area where the Aztec vehicle came down. The Aztec vehicle was observed on radar when it was coming in, and so air traffic control people knew about where it landed, and they furnished the coordinates to a helicopter from Durango military base, which flew down there and identified its position, hot radio contact. Security forces were already on their way. They left when the helicopter did, and they arrived on scene while the helicopter was still there and quickly surrounded the area, kept all the people living inside of their secure area in their homes, wouldn't let them out for 3 days while the recovery operation took place. In the meantime, the 6 scientists and 6 generals had been notified to proceed to Durango, where they each went by special airplane and arrived about the same time, and a team was made up and transportation furnished, and they were driven to the crash site near Aztec, where they took charge of the vehicle on the ground and succeeded in disassembling it eventually and recovering the bodies and taking them into custody.